Since the 1980 Winter Olympics in Lake Placid, New York State has poured hundreds of millions of dollars into ORDA, the Olympic Regional Development Authority. It runs ski destinations like Whiteface and Gore Mountain. It operates the Olympic Center in Lake Placid and sports complexes with ski jumps, biathlon courses, and bobsled tracks. But here's the problem. ORDA leadership says they don't have a long-term plan to maintain all that sophisticated and expensive infrastructure. They say they don't have the capacity and they need help. That's today's Story of the Day.
Support for Story of the Day comes from the Wild Center in Tupper Lake, dedicated to strengthening visitors' connections to the natural world. More at wildcenter.org.
Hi, I'm Amy Feiereisel. It's Monday, February 23rd, and I'm in for David Summerstein. First up, a solar farm owner in Jefferson County has agreed to an 11-year tax agreement. The owner, Convergent Energy, operates a solar farm outside the village of Chameau. In July of 2023, the farm's battery storage caught fire and burned for days, releasing dangerous smoke. Local state assemblyman Scott Gray told WWNY-TV that battery fire had real impacts on the local community and its emergency response crews.
We've seen what this facility can do in terms of requiring resources from the local jurisdiction, so we thought it was necessary that they get adequate compensation.
Convergent Energy's CEO said it's always been open to paying these taxes. Last Thursday, the company committed to paying the Jefferson County IDA $3,500 per megawatt produced at the solar farm. It also committed to giving money to the Lime Central School District for student scholarships. The 2023 solar farm fire was one of the first battery storage fires in the U.S. Local crews were unprepared to fight the chemical blaze. It provoked an emergency state response and led to a new battery storage safety code in New York, adopted last fall. And a 60-unit workforce housing project in Ticonderoga has secured almost $10 million in state funding. As the Plattsburgh Press-Republican reports, the proposed apartment building would consist of 1- and 2-bedroom units and include a daycare center. The project's nonprofit partners are the North Country Development Coalition and the Essex County Land Bank. The builder is the Reagan Development Corporation, which built the Mackenzie Overlook project in Lake Placid. Project leaders emphasized that the apartment complex would not be Section 8 public assistance housing, but workforce units for, quote, teachers, service industry workers, town employees, and mill workers. The Olympic Regional Development Authority in Lake Placid got approval last week to spend $3 million on a consulting firm. That firm will be tasked with writing a 30-year maintenance plan for all of ORDA's facilities, which leadership says is desperately needed. As Emily Russell reports, the approval on Friday was a reversal of the ORDA board's skepticism just a few months ago.
The Olympic Regional Development Authority has venues in the Adirondacks and Catskills that are worth more than $600 million. They span from Whiteface and Gore Mountains to the ski jumps, hockey rinks, and Olympic training centers in Lake Placid. However, at ORDA's board meeting back in December, CEO Ashley Walden said they didn't have a long-term plan to maintain those venues.
The more time we take to do it, the more money we're going to spend on fixing the things that break because we haven't had time to get our arms around it.
Walden also said ORDA doesn't have the expertise to write a long-term maintenance plan. So she proposed spending $3 million on a consulting firm. That money would come out of ORDA's $87 million budget. At the time, most board members wondered whether it was a good investment of state funds. So they tabled the vote and talked more in depth in the months since about what the firm could accomplish for ORDA. Board member Diane Monroe was skeptical at first. So at the most recent board meeting on Friday, she asked Walden to reframe the value of ORDA's venues.
What is the replacement value of our facilities?
Walden responded, saying it would cost the state more than $1 billion to replace them all. Monroe said that brought her more clarity about the cost of hiring a consulting firm.
For me, $3 million as a percentage of that feels less expensive, I guess.
Board member Art Lucy was another early skeptic. At December's meeting, he said he couldn't support spending $3 million on consultants. But at Friday's board meeting, Lucy said he took the time to learn from ORDA employees about what they needed to maintain the venues.
What I've learned from talking to staff and managers is that they have directional booklets or manuals on how to run lifts, but they need interpretation.
Lucy said he sees the consultants really as technical advisors, people who can connect the dots when it comes to maintaining assets long term, like when to replace ski lifts or the roofs on buildings. ORDA's board chair, Joe Martens, chimed in, saying the consulting firm will help fill in those gaps in expertise.
We're never going to hire all the staff we need to do it all the time. So we rely on technical advisors to help us do it as efficiently and as effectively as possible.
The Colorado-based firm would start by reviewing ORDA's operations, analyzing its goals, and then it would write a long-term plan for ORDA's operations and for its venues. Despite more details from ORDA's leadership over the last few months, board member and former state senator Betty Little stayed skeptical. She was the only person to vote against it on Friday.
I just can't support it right now. It's such an expense, and we're in such great shape and being so successful. I don't understand the need for this.
With every other board member voting in favor, the resolution passed. ORDA's CEO, Ashley Walden, said she's glad the board gathered more information and ultimately approved the contract.
I'm happy that after all of the discussions that we've had, that they further understand the project and really how it's going to help us, not only deliver on our mission, but continue to protect the assets that we have.
The consulting firm is expected to start working with ORDA in the next few months and then deliver a plan to the Olympic Authority over the next year or so. Emily Russell, North Country Public Radio, Lake Placid.
As a final wintry treat, we're headed to Mirror Lake in Lake Placid. During the winter, when the ice is nice and thick, the North Elba Park District clears areas on the lake for people to play hockey and ice skate. When possible, they also plow a big perimeter loop. I stopped by to stretch my legs earlier this winter, and here's my audio postcard. So I thought maybe I was going to skate today. I recently got my skates sharpened, and I was running an errand in town, and I saw people out on the lake. So I came down with them, but I figured out pretty quickly that wasn't going to be possible. The ice is a little too rough and choppy the way it last froze, and there's also quite a bit of snow on top. But the plowed path around the entire perimeter of the lake is really perfect for walking, and that's what people are doing out here. Oh, a couple of people are making it work actually on the plowed out hockey oval here. More confident on their skates than I am. There are lots of little different groups on the ice, parents with their kids, groups of teenagers making snow angels in the snow. I made it about as far as I can be from where I started, and I've just been really enjoying these views of the lake and the mountains and the trees. Hi there. I meet Nicole Robinson on the trail. We have something in common. This is also her first experience on Mirror Lake in the winter.
This is my first time walking on the ice. Yes, I came here this summer and swam a lot. And of course, I grew up coming to Lake Placid. Robinson is from Malone and recently moved to Saranac Lake. It's warm for a winter day. It's not breezy, it's not high winds. It's a perfect winter day. All the buildings and trees ringing the lake are frosted with snow. Mountains loom in the distance. And all the different, cottages along the way. I've been enjoying it's a different view, getting to see them from the water. Well, it's a little bit overcast this morning. It was much clearer, and you could see the top of Whiteface, which is just breathtaking to see that scar. We're blessed to live in such a great place with so many, wonderful winter activities that are easy to do at all ages. The sun is low in the sky as I continue back towards the Mirror Lake Public Beach. I pass more ice pedestrians and a family teaching their toddler how to skate on a tiny patch of cleared ice. It's such a nice day to just walk on the ice. It's the right temperature. It's not windy. And if you can't skate, you can take a little 1.5 mile loop around the lake. You can find more news all the time at ncpr.org. Music today came from Tim Ellifritz in Johnsburg and Dan Duggan in Lake Clear. I'm Amy Feiereisel, North Country Public Radio.